We are on the almost the last 2 weeks of year 2021, and 2021 have been, for some of you, been a great year, not necessarily been the worst year. For some are just doing some sort of average return. Just pencil me in down there and let me know how has your portfolio or your trading been doing for the year 2021, and see what are the things that you can hope to change and what are the things that you can do to improve for year 2022. And definitely those of you who stayed on, we will have something to share with the audience today on something that can help you to look for better returns, for better performance for year 2022. But let's look at some of the headlines that we have in our Bursa Malaysia roundup this morning. Definitely one of them is the inflation. We have seen the inflation in the US continue to climb almost 6%, one of the highest in the last 30 or 40 years. This is also due to the economy reopening and things are getting more expensive. I even received a letter stating that some of the local bread that you eaten, that the one that you go to the coffee shop, has gone up by 10%. So if you look at this news here, talks about the inflation rate in Malaysia is expected to be 2.3 at the end of the quarter. Some of you may say that, hey, this is probably not up to date. Remember, the bread that we're talking about, the kopitiam white bread, has gone up by almost 10%, and yet the CPI rose 2.9%. And many of you who are shopping this Christmas are also feeling the pinch of higher prices to a lot of the goods that we usually get, and getting less for money, and this has also an impact on the stock market. Now definitely many of you know the impact of inflation normally drag down the Bursa, or in this case the US stocks exchange that we're seeing in here. Higher petrol prices, higher food prices, higher transport prices, and even higher entertainment for those who want to go back and watch some movie in here. So it's also great that you'll be looking at some stocks or investment that may able to pass on that cost to the consumer and able to keep up that prices. And many of you would have known some of these sector would be technology sector, would able to hold on, as they have a lot of the IP, intellectual property sector, like the iPhones. Of course, the cost would, some of these would naturally goes up. That would also impact their bottom lines there. Let's see what we have for you when we get on to the US market. So definitely some of the stocks and the stories that we have is PMB Tech, which is a subsidiary of Press Metal in here. And this story talks about PMB is going into manufacturing of metallic silicon for investment up to 320 million in phase 1. Now, according to the company, metallic silicon is a raw material which have a compounded growth rate of 4%. Now, 4% is not a lot, to be frank with you in here. Now, PMB Tech earnings have received a major boost, and this is due to the stronger metallic silicon prices, which is used in the semiconductors in here. For the first 9 months for September 2021, PMB Tech group profit soared to 45.5 million compared to 11.8 million. That is almost 3 times more. And the revenue has climbed to 542 million. So if you look at let's turn on to the Robby chat in here, and you can look at PMB Tech. All right, that will simply shows you the chart has definitely significantly gone up a bit in here. All right. And you can see right now it does look like a bit of reaccumulation, but take note, should the market break below the ATR stop loss, that's the one you see on the right hand side here. Let me just pinch it up a bit here. That would be around the I suppose around $12 in there. Of course, a better chart will be on the trading wheel. You will see much better in here. But also, let's not forget, let's take a look at where we are this morning in our KLCI by switching to our market in here. As you can see here, so far you're seeing we did have a rebound from last Friday. That was the 15 bar, and to me this does look like window dressing that many of us are waiting in here. This doesn't look like a rebound where the market will move back up in here. Of course, a better take would be looking at the foreign fund flows. Of course, this morning the market is down after lifting up, hitting the resistance of 1500. Remember the resistance for KLSE at 1500. Top glove is up 4% in here, and the market is down 3 points in here. But This is the tall tail signs, and you can see from the right hand side, which does show that foreign fund continue to sell into this market in that we've seen right now, even as we've seen before, and that's what we are getting, the kind of market in here. There are some odds Pentagon guider that's done pretty well, and this case was Kuskapi, about a 28% return. Kin Heng, these are all the small cap stock. They can go up, they can go down, but the big cap stocks, that's the one that really missing from the Pentagon guider. So this year hasn't been a great year, I have to say. And also looking from here, you can see the tech stocks have fallen out of the favorite in here, industrial product and finance. So it does seem like finance is holding up its ground in here. That's something you want to be looking at the finance sector. And back to the PMB Tech in here. So this news does comes a bit late, and let's take a look at the live stock rises for PMB Tech this morning, and you can see it's down 1.1% down to $12, but stabilizing at that portion. Now let's take a look at our next news. Now, next news is on the renewable energy sectors, which do come to the end of the year, and many people are talking about the renewable energy. One thing has definitely surged. We are seeing a transition between the old in energy sector, which is the oil and gas, to the renewable sector, and that's usually a cost associated with many of this, and that's why we see petrol prices are also heading higher. It's because of the eventual switch to it, and many of this oil and gas player, in this case on this story, it's Dialog, really moving into the renewable energy sector in here. So all being said, they are investing a huge amount, couple of $100 million into this, and Hong Leong Group Research maintaining a buy call on Dialog on unchanged price target of 338, which implied almost a 38% upside. Now let's take a look at Dialog this morning, and whether this will give into a better price markup. Are we seeing a markup this morning? On the live stock prices is down minus 0.4 at 246. And let's take a look at the charts for Dialog. So the chart for Dialog, it's really falling also on many parts of the oil prices in here. So you can see right now there is a lot of profit taking coming back to around the 2 ringgit 40 cents. If you just pinch this up, you can see it also. Will this be given the kind of green light that it looks like? But it does seem that Dialog is just bouncing between 240 to the old high of $3 in here, and it is actually a pretty good area to be looking to buy a Dialog if you like it, but wait for the green pentagon. Okay, wait for the green pentagon in here, and that's how we want to look at it. Let's move on to our next story. Now, next story is on rubber glove, which we have seen rubber glove this morning moving up a bit higher here. Talks about Supermax setting to build a new plant in US in Texas. Now we have seen some of the bigger manufacturing as well as the Elon Musk Tesla also moved to Texas due to the more friendly environment and tax incentive that was given out by the Texas state in here. So this story talk about the CEO of the US-based Supermax subsidiary called Supermax Healthcare Incorporated, CK Tan, talk about the facilities able to cater at least 10 to 15% of the annual medical glove imported in the next 2 to 4 years. They are trying to make their presence in here being first in localized in US, so that will have a better entry into the US market. We do see that US is one of the biggest consumption of the going forward to the next 4 or 5 years. So let's take a look at Supermax right now. Okay, we can see Supermax in here. Switching to a wider chart. So Supermax has been in a downtrend tear. That's right, straight down. Really, there's no reason to see how this market can go up, not until at least we see a green pentagon in here. The last time we saw a green pentagon, you could see the market just made up. But on this news, there was a 5% gain, and we do see a lot of the rubber glove are still moving up nicely. You can see early on from here. a 5% move. We have seen Tom Glove is 5%, Hata is 4%. So it is a rebound in the glove sectors. Could this be just a window dressing, or this could be just a rebound due to the beginning of short selling? Short selling will start on 1st of January. Is this what we are seeing right now? Yet to be seen, but we will have seen probably a likelihood of a double bottom for Hata Lega, which we'll look at it. So keep an eye on Hata Lega and Top Glove. I do think that at one point we will see some sort of rebound in these stocks we have in here. It's not dead yet, I would say, around rubber glove. Now let's move over to the US side. Okay, now on the US side, we have seen a lot of what we call corrections that we have, and let's take a look at the US S&P 500. So you can see from US S&P 500, switching to a wider chart here, you can see we are forming some sort of a double top. It did have a green pentagon earlier on the 12th of December, but immediately the red pentagon also came out, right? So that's telling you a lot of resistance at 4570 in here. Of course, breaking the old level around the 4,600 level there, that means this market can go below. But right now you would have seen a triple top on the on it, and the US interest on the interest rate continue to lower due to the US what we call the US interest rate will continue to rise. Okay, US continue to rise. This is due to high inflation, and this is where the US are looking into bond tapering, which means they are looking to buy less 30 billion every month from, and we are also got the news that there will likely to be 3 interest rate hike in year 2020, many of them be within the first 6 months of 2022. So all these are really being priced in on the stock. So you can see that's why the stock chart could not make any higher right now. Now remember, the stock market has always been a forward-looking kind of instrument in here. So as the market is pricing in here, we will see whether the market continue to correct. But in my opinion, this kind of correction is actually good. That would only mean the market can go higher in here. And also the news from the barons are currently reporting in here, stating that investor should not expect big returns from the stock market next year as interest rate rise. That is pretty true. But we have seen in the past a rise of interest rate does show that the economy are rebounding, and after the interest rate rise slows down, okay, we will see the likelihood of the market and rebound. But I don't think there would be a major recession like what we saw on the Omicron previously experienced back in year 2020. It is still looking on the upside, but it is more not expecting a bigger gain. Now compared to the KLSE, I don't see much going on, any of the catalysts that we've seen so far in here. So that's yet to be seen whether the catalysts for Malaysia would be coming up from the banking sectors in here. But a better perspective will be on the US, as US go through this cycle of the economic growth, a modest economic growth that we've seen under BBB, Build Back Better US infrastructure policies that we've seen, right? So that will also play into different sectors, which I will talk about, and an opportunity on the US ETF sector side, where rather than just selecting purely on single stocks, you can select the sector in here. And pretty much like what we have seen in here, the market will be closed this Friday. Just take note, not this coming Friday for Christmas. And for those of you who are going off for a Christmas break, I do have that. I did my Christmas break already. I came back, and that's what I'm back this week in here reporting to you on our breakfast show. And of course, the ongoing economic data release, and as well as the earnings like Nike and Micron seems to be holding the US headline. Now let's take a look at the Nike we have seen so far, and Nike is here. Okay, NKE. Okay, you can see Nike actually hit the double top here and has turned yellow trend zone or red pentagon in here. So that looks like the market, it's not ready to move higher, right? And but let's look at the next one is MU. Okay, is Micron. And you can see Micron, being a technology stock, is still holding up above the $84 in here. It does has a lot of resistance. This is due to the higher interest rate that is forecast as technology sector usually back off when we see higher interest rate. Okay, the days of what we call very low interest rate seems to be closer to ending than as we see inflation and also interest rates start to rise. Okay, so take note for that. But some technology stocks right here are still in a nice uptrend run. It may end soon, but we have to see how well the what we call the trend for this market continue to hog up in here. So it's always important to pay attention to the trend rather than to the news in here, because news tend to be very slow. Prices and volume that we've seen in this Micron shares will tend to do much better. All right, let's move on to the Singapore market. Now, in the Singapore market, we have seen the rebound in the rubber glove early on this morning, right? And that is also proving to UG Healthcare. So if you just go on to, but let's take a look at Singapore market right now and going to the STI market now. So you can see from here onwards, the Singapore also went down a sell-off due to the correction that we've seen on the Omicron. So you can see in here, but right now it's holding up this level in here. Hasn't done green Pentagon yet. Not sure when it's going to be doing that, but we'll just keep a close eye by logging into SMARTRobie. But what we have seen here right now, you can see some of the really penny stocks that seem to be doing well. In here, Top Glove, all right, again, it's up 5%, just like its parent company in Malaysia. iShare, big gainer in here. Nothing of a big surprise in here. Volumes are pretty low with the exception of the decliner in here, which is SG.US, 1.4 million. Some of these are very small volumes, you know, with the exception of DAILY, which is about, that is less than a cent. So you're getting about 92 million here. But the UG Healthcare, let's take a look at UG Healthcare. UG Healthcare. All right, so UG Healthcare is 8K7. 8K7, and that one is also very similar to the Top Glove. Already turned green Pentagon this morning. Okay, no, green Pentagon last Friday, so that was also rebounding from what we saw last Friday in here. Let's take a look at this morning. Where is the livestock prices in here? It is up 7%. Okay, up 7%. So that's making a good round. Maybe it's for some of you who is looking to sell your Top Glove in here, may want to rethink. Are we seeing rebound that we have seen, or the market has shaken many of the perspective or the longer term rubber glove player? But I do think rubber glove, it's worthwhile to hold at this level in here, because no doubt the ASP prices are normalizing in here, but don't look for great what we call returns in here, like what we've seen super return back in 2020. All right, 220 in here. Okay, now let's look at some of the new features that is released this month for the SMARTRobie. Definitely one of them will be only for the KLCI. First is the watch list. So you can see this little bell here that you see here. Click on this little bell and you can really set up your portfolio, as I said before in here. So hold on to the and there is the alert. We have two parts, whether those already been waiting and alerted, and this of course you can see it in your in-app notification on your handphone. So it's pretty good, and to get alerts, especially the stop loss or the profit target, which we will be using to set up for our trading plan. All right, so one of the best way to do it is you can just create another watch list here, and let's see, I have one watch list. I can create another watch list, call it maybe ST2 list number 2. Okay, submit. Okay, so you can see now, just switch back to here. So you can just switch it and you can put in the watches. We will do it when we do the trading. So from here onwards, you can see public bank. You can edit the stock alert. So for public bank, I want to be notified both the lower bound, which is 3 ringgit 80 cent, and the upper bound of 410. And usually those are what we call profit target. Profit target around maybe 4 ringgit 10 cents. So I set alert there, and then a stop loss at 380, and also a volume surge in here. Or you can put in just the intraday alert, and this is the test for the 10-day range that we are like to test out for. So then we can go on to Inari, of course, same thing too. You can also set up and key the choices in here. But we will get back to this when we do the trading plan. But so make sure you use the watches to set up for that, and do take note, any of these stocks that we've seen here, right? Let's go to the Pentagon list one, public bank, Inari, right? You will be notified when the charts actually turn green Pentagon. So you can see here, public bank turned green Pentagon on the 7th of December. I didn't know that, do you? Right? So that's really interesting to see. Any of the stocks that you have, if you have it in your portfolio, or whether in CIMB, RSB, you can actually key those in and be notified when does the green Pentagon and red Pentagon. So let's take a look at public bank. And we have seen that no surprises, right? Because why? One of the things that we have seen so far, you can see there you go. That's right. So the banks are surging back, and that's why we see the finance stocks actually move up. But this morning, I'm not surprised. I will see profit taking. And sometimes when you see banks surge towards the end of the year, usually it is probably window dressing. Okay, right? And let's take a look this morning whether public bank, yep, it's up back to $4. It was a shakeout due to the Omicron, a bit overextended that selling, and now the market is back up. So at least, going back to the watch list here, right, many of you would have seen, going back to here, you will know that Inari, KGB, all this, when was the last red Pentagon and green Pentagon in here. So Inari hasn't set it up here, so I'll probably set this, right, and I'll probably put maybe 4 ringgit. Okay, profit alert, price alert, okay, for 4 ringgit. Okay, then so I'll just click that save and save the alert. So, and click on to view your alert. Okay, so that will be set up at 410. I'm just interested in more the upper end because these are for me the shorter. Of course, those of you who are the shorter term can also use this too. All right. So let's move on to our next story section. Is our last trade idea that we have back on the 29th of November, which is a beginner stock. Episode 142 was Kossan. And this is where we can talk about early on how to set up your alert. Okay, now remember Kossan didn't do very well here. You can see Kossan, we did have the first burst on the 29th. Okay, that was on 29th, but the Pentagon came in a bit earlier, on the 25th, and that was a distribution bar. The market did broke back down. So if you put in your ATR stop loss here around 209, and that's what we talk about setting the alert. Okay, so here you can put on to Pentagon list. Okay, and I just want to add one more stock called Kossan. Just add that in. Okay, so Kossan, I just set the lower bound, hit that one, edit. So the lower bound is 209. Okay, so again, remark, I just price alert on support. Okay, and I'll hit that one, save the alert. So that is going to be good to get notified if the market hit on the lower bound. So let's go back to the chart that we're seeing here. So right now that was on the 29th. We only brought it up somewhere in early December. So on the 29th, this was the alert. So at least during the day, you're notified, you're able to exit that and avoid this now. So right now, if you have Kossan over here, you can see this Kossan over here, right? And if there is a green Pentagon, okay, if there's a green Pentagon pops out from Kossan, you will be notified. All right, so that's one way you can set up all your alerts for any of the stocks that you have, and this is one of the feature of the green Pentagon alert notification will come up to you in the around 10 o'clock, and then you will also set the intraday alert too. So that's definitely one great function SMARTRobie can help you to monitor your portfolio in here, setting the upper and higher bound in here. So right now, let's take a look at top glove. Okay, you can see top glove hasn't turned green pentagon yet. It has a resistance in here, and this was the Omicron, and then suddenly Omicron not so serious, and the market just dropped back down. You can see there's a lot of this kind of shakeout in here, but I do think that this should be the final shakeout that we have seen so far. If you look at the weekly chart, all right, we are really back to where we were before May 2020 February. Remember, right? This was the big surge that we seen. The first one, January 2020, February, right? And March was the time frame where we seen the US actually fell, but the pickup was on May. So it went up to $8 now, really back to where we were, around 164 after the stock adjustment in here. All right. So all in all, rubber glove really took a lot of people by surprise by going up. Even in this past 2 years, the ability to withstand the volatility need to be something that the investor have to think about it. Okay, let's move on to this week trade idea for episode 145, 20th of December. We have Frontken, so let's take a look at Frontken, and together we can switch back to daily chart. We can set up, okay, Frontken. Now, what are the things that we have added up for this in here? Let me just bring up to is the weekly support and resistance. And what do I mean by that? So you go on to Pentagon Guider, and you can see what I do. I choose the latest Pentagon green date. Some of those are like on the 14 or 15. I don't like it, so I will pick this 16 because it is of course KLSE CP will be better. Of course it's 17, right? But 16th of December is the one that I actually pick in here. All right, so this is the one that I pick. And take note, we have weekly resistance. Now weekly resistance and weekly S, weekly R, weekly S. Weekly R can be the weekly resistance. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, so I'll put it up here and I'll put on Kossan. Okay, switch to a day, not Kossan, Frontken. Okay, switch back to a daily chart. So you can see the price that I like to enter is 390, which is the weekly high. 390. Okay, 390 is the weekly high here. And so 390, right now is 388. Okay, 388. So if the market 390, the high is 390. So this is actually a good entry level, right? Because the 390 level is a good entry level. So that's the level you want. And the weekly support is 375. So this is where we are, 375. So that is the first alert that I wanted to be known. Okay. So 390 is the likelihood of my entry. 375 is the first alert, and if it does come down 375, I want to be exiting very fast, because right now take note, the market, the main index of the market, the KLCI, is not that fantastically green. You don't need to take the trade, right? You can see even the last time when you took the trade, immediately you'll be out by then. Okay, so 390 in here. Don't look for a super run like what we've seen so far. This is going to be a chugging along slowly, every step. So let's take a look and bring up the trading plan. Okay, let's bring up the trading plan in here. Okay, we have seen this, so move this a bit more. So let's look at the weekly first. Weekly, just turn red pentagon, huh? Okay. Okay, weekly pentagon is red. Okay, and green pentagon just turn on the 17th December. Okay. Daily green pentagon on 17th December. Okay, so we have that 17. So important entry level. So entry, good. I will call good. EP, okay. is 390. Okay, 390. Okay, and now we need to take note of the weekly support at what level was that? And we just go back to our SMARTRobie here, 375. Okay, 375, and that will change, of course, as the market go higher. Okay, 375 weekly support. So 375, this is the part where I want to set the alert. Remember, we talked about setting the alert, 375 and also 380. Okay, so why can the market move up? We see a little bit of some volume coming in. Okay, last low support here. This is okay, so this one is, so we set what alert watch list, okay, for 374. Upper bound is 374. How about the higher bound? The higher bound, we can set it using the trading plan too. Okay, so let's go to our trading plan. You can see on top here, right? And we can go down to Robby chat, and we go to Frontken, and we go on to trading plan here. There you go. So here we can see R1 is 390, which it did take out. Okay, the R1 is 390 take out. Weekly resistance 3955. Okay, 3955 here. So the good entry point, we use it as the 350 here, 2.46 from the last closing price of 386. Last closing price 386 here. Okay, 386. All right, and weekly resistance is 395 here. Okay, 395. So some support coming in. Okay, here low support is let me see, the low support here is 3, that is R2 390. Let me just go on to the exit strategy to find the support. Okay, so the support here is 375. It's also 375, the support. Okay, that's another one, 356. Okay, so we have a couple of support here. Okay, after 375, next one will be 356. You can see 356 here. Let me just push this up, you can see better. 356, yep. Okay, so we have 375 support, 356 support too. Okay, there you go. So high resistance, okay, we know that that will be the high resistance will be R1. So we go back to the top here, we can see 405. Okay, 405 or 3955. Okay, 395 would be our first little bit of profit taking if you're trading a very short term. Now remember, this kind of stock Frontken is not going to be whipping very fast up here, so you want to set it a bit higher, 405 here. Okay, 405 high resistance, so we can set another alert here. This will be the lower bound. Okay, lower bound means we want it, if it hits a resistance, we want to take some evasive action, and here is we set it for the higher bound. Okay, so this one is the higher bound. For 405. And how long do you want to put it for? This one, if you look back the last few days, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2 weeks. Okay, 2 weeks only. So it's only 2 weeks. Okay, 2 weeks only. So 390 and the low bound. So what we do is that we go over to our alert. You can see right now I'm setting the alert for ST2. Go to Pentagon, and we were looking at maybe I'll just set up in this no, it's still a Pentagon trade. Okay, so let's go back to a Pentagon, and we are looking at Frontken. Let's add the current to Frontken. Alright, so you can see Frontken right here. So we set it for what was the price. So set the alert for the lower bound is 374, and make sure it's 3.7.4. Okay, the upper bound will be 405. Now assuming we enter at 390, it hasn't hit 390 yet, so you want to make sure it touches 390 again. So we save this. Okay, and we also, this is for our trade. Okay, so I'll just type here, this will be our trade idea, episode 145, which is the 20th of December. Okay, we save that one, save the alert. Okay, so we save that. You can see right now Frontken we have 374 and 405. So now remember also, you notice here, right? It turned green pentagon on the 16th of December, which corresponds to the date here. So let's hopefully assume that the trend will continue, like you see in technology in here, hit 405, which is this old high here, the 405. All right, and if you notice, it is a very, very small percentage only, and you can just pull it out to here, 390 to 405. That is actually a 3.5%. Some of you, if you are trading this, it's not even worth doing it. Don't do it, okay? Because you want to trade for a longer time. Now this is a very short-term trade, just kind of 2 weeks to go for 3% in here with a stop loss or perhaps exit point around 374. All right, take note of that. So that's how we set up this very, very simple example of a trading plan, and you don't need to trade if you don't like to trade, because like it or not, the market hasn't been that great. We haven't seen green pentagon yet. As likelihood, I'm going to update you on our next segment too. All right, that's now on the next segment. You have seen the pentagon. So far for 2020 was a great year. There's about 106% return, but this year, excuse me, compared to KLCI, which is down minus 7.4, we are still up 6.1%, which is not bad. We still beat the KLCI by almost 12 to 13% in here. Of course, if you go forward, this is our so-called comparison to KLCI. We did pretty well in the January and February where the market was really moving. So we were up there, we caught, and then stagger along. We didn't sort of, the market wasn't going anywhere, but we did stay above. Right here you can see. So it's always important to follow these rules when the overall market, the KLCI, isn't that positive or no green pentagon, then we stay out. Right? So right now you could see we are up about 6 points. We are still beating the KLCI right now, and as such there isn't any trade. We have closed all our trades anyway for the December 2021, and the last trade that we did was Inari. We also closed that one. That's what we are registering, 6.1. And of course I will also showcase more of our trade VSA 360, which we did launch in November. So that is something new. So make sure you join me this Friday at 10:15, a continuation of also the VSA Turtle Trader, which we also talk about in here. And of course, something that we felt that for year 2022, which have a big impact, will be the US stock sector ETF, exchange traded fund. It's a step-by-step guide for profiting in exchange traded fund, where we will guide you, giving you the insights that many of you want. It will be on the 12th and 13th of January, just about another 3 more weeks in here. Of course, for our members, this will be a free event, and for the public, those of you who want to get hold, we do have early bird fees, because we're going to be showing you how you can build wealth and grow your retirement account up and protect your capital from falling market by doing sector rotation and recognizing which are the trending stocks, because we do always believe there will always be one or two that is trending very well in the US, and also to help prevent it, if there is a major collapse, you can also buy the inverse ETF, and that's one of the showcase seminar that we will be sharing with you in here using the trade VSA indicators and signal, and you will get 30 days recording video too, in case you're not able to catch up in some of this. So you will save time and able to double and even triple your profit by using some of the leverage ETF. We will teach you and we will showcase with you on the 11th and 12th. So make sure you join us for this US stock ETF workshop in here. All right. So right now we're going to be doing our stock review. And of course, to those of you who have reviewed us in Google Play Store and Apple Play Store for our SMARTRobie apps, we thank you for your support in here. And the least we could do now is to review some of the stocks that some of you may have. Do let me know. All right, if you have any stock, do let me know. Pencil those in there. And so if there's no stocks, many of you are purely maybe out of the market. We wish you all the best. And also don't forget to join us in our next talk, which we will be doing on Wednesday night. That's right. For Wednesday night will be our breakfast show, and also this coming Wednesday we will be back for our evening talk, and we will have a special topic for you. All right, so make sure join us on this coming Wednesday night, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.